Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to this podcast. Life is magical. I know I have been taking a little break from recording some podcast these few weeks since I returned back from my trip from Ireland, but here I am. I'm a wellness coach, author, healer, Akashic Records reader, and share the knowledge and lessons openly on this beautiful platform. And I believe totally life is magical. And why not, right? And I get to see life slightly different, and I want to bring along with you as well, what resonates with you out of this podcast. If something resonates, take it on. If something doesn't resonate, drop it back here and go forward in the direction that sits with you. That's the most important thing, so I share what inspires me and hope that inspires you guys too. So today's podcast is about the autumn season. In the recent weeks, I have been noticing so much about letting go and what this beautiful season is bringing in. And autumn has been my favorite since I moved to Ireland years ago or decades ago, because it's the first time I started noticing fall. And actually, I moved to Ireland in September. In October, I started noticing the fall with the crispness, the winter coming in, and the colors. They were so beautiful and radiant. Being in Seattle is no different. It's much more vibrant. I just love noticing what's around. And embracing it has taught me so much beautiful things in life. So it shows us how to embrace change. It reminds us to accept and flow with the change. Just like the falling leaves, you must let go in order to move forward, grow, and heal, right? As an inner child, who doesn't like to walk on those crisp leaves when they're fallen, right? It's just the joy of sense of being connected into the presence, into the nature, is what ignites us. For those of us who are on the northern hemisphere, we all are noticing those beautiful signs of autumn in a super bright way now, and it's time to loosen up ourselves. And change is inevitable, but embracing it and moving forward is a great lesson we get to learn this time. Autumn is a beautiful season of all changes for many reasons. Of course, I love spring too because there is a tenderness, the new growth emerging out from the hibernation. Maybe we'll do another podcast on that. But here, the most vibrant colors you notice. It's like you see, you feel, you know it. And it can shift the lightness to the soul if we work along with it. Ask yourself, what is that you're resisting in this season? Periods of transition and change are often fraught with pain and crisis. I do notice in my one-to-one sessions, speaking to many other people, is like we are all going through a heavy energy phases, either feeling tired, anxious, overwhelmed. There is a lot of pain, lot of change that's coming along, but we don't know how to address it because we are only noticing the changes, but we are not internalizing what those are and where it is coming from and what is the benefit of it. Yeah. Say, for example, when you go into the energy of the fall, it's all about the change and balance, right? An invitation to take a moment and slow down, a time to reflect, reevaluate, and nurture us. We begin to take from fall one of our greatest lessons of letting go. The trees leave a transition into beautiful colors, and eventually, one by one, they begin to fall. And as they fall, remember, they are giving the strength back to the tree, not making the tree weaker. And by releasing things, we are not becoming weaker. Our personalities are not changing, but we are only getting the better side of us. We are regaining our strengths. Always remember that letting go is creating more beautiful space within us. And in the fog of it, we get uncertain of what we need to project or deliver. But going inwards helps us to deliver our soul essence. We are born not to be perfect, but to grow and evolve. So, this change, the cycle of transition, is not something that you are trying to accompany on yourself. But remember, the nature is teaching us by doing it what is it to evolve as well. And when the spring comes, the same trees grow and nurture and bring the new leaves, new energies. So when we move into spring, we are bringing a new ideas, new dimension to our life, a new perspective to our thoughts, because we would have gone through letting go, hibernated, and then progressing into the cycle of life. Growth comes from when we are in a space and not in a closet. Think for a moment, where would you like to grow and become, and why? Because this is a self investigation time. This time of uncertainty is where we really need to go inwards and anchor and understand our strengths. Ask yourself, what would you like to achieve? How are you progressing forward? And what tools do you need to grow? And have you got your soul tribe with you where you are open to communicate these deep desires? Remember, you may not have all answers to all these, but remember the starting point to question and move forward is the most important thing. The times of release and uncertainties are the biggest gifts we always drive in by. I have seen it over time and time, that it always has brought in the best gifts. But maybe in those times when we are going through, we of course don't know there is a brightness towards it, but that leap of faith and remembering your gift, that's the most important drive force to push you into the forward direction. We are needed to hold on to our strengths rather than weaknesses. And just again, remembering those leaves as they're shredding off the branches and letting off the tree, you are coming to your inner strengths. And few questions here I'm throwing out. What is that you are letting go? Questions that will help you in this process would be what are you worrying about? What burdens are you carrying? What are you ready to unpack now? Of course, can you change the past? Or move forward with lessons adapted that gives you the strength, right? Where do you see yourself with all these things? It's a huge package we are unrevealing, so definitely take your time. Let it sink through, let it process step by step. Don't push yourself all things at once. Releasing the past, traveling lighter into the dark months with little light is important. I'm not saying we are going into the dark phases, but to the dark months to hibernate, to recharge. We usually sleep in the night when it's dark. It's the rhythm of the nature that's around us. We are following it. Holding on to your wounds won't heal. What you need to release is what has to come out. Feeling the wound only can ignite back the pain always. But remember that wound has taught you some greatest lessons, and you're just moving forward. And you're not going to keep healing your old wounds because they are done, dusted in the past. And with that comes the change, which is very uncomfortable for most of us. And we resist, we don't deep dive enough because there is a lot of unpackaging to be done. The tendency is to hold and learn to embrace or let it go. When you let go something, you will feel an imbalance, but remember to embrace with things you love most and parts that excite you most in life. And the boundaries are all placed as you walk on this path of uncertainty to be felt and bring back to us. So remember, what are you here to release as you go deep into those hibernating times? You still got few weeks before we go on to the holiday season. But before that, what are the real critical things that you want to work on yourself? Bring that focus and attention. And yes, remember, you can do it. Remember, you can do it. The more you affirm you can do it, you're getting it done. It's staying focused, staying in that moment of faith that yes, you're raising your vibrations, your frequencies as you're reducing the burden that you're carrying with you. And then you are much lighter as you go into the hibernation. And when you come out next year, you're coming out with a full force, full energy because you have regained, you have reset yourself. That's the most important thing, and here trust in yourself. Trust is the most important thing. Trust as you shred, it's a gain in strength for you and not a weakness. Always remember that. Yeah. Hope the season thoughts are informative or a new perspective or something that you already know, have pondered a new thought that you are just needing a sign, and here you're listening to the sign that you are working on it. Yeah. So here I'm letting go by saying, sit with this and see what resonates with you, and what are your key takebacks and how you're going to progress forward. I'll be here journaling my letting goes, my releases, my activities. So I bring in more energy and more thoughts as well. And remember, as you empty the space, the new thoughts, new ideas are going to always be flowing in. You're never going to be working from a full on vessel. You're always going to refuel yourself, but let that get empty first. And if you are listening this from Seattle, I do hold in-person sacred circles, especially for women, on the new moon and the full moon, and also healing through art in person with cacao ceremony. So if that drives you into the interest, check on my website www.srimanju.com, or the link is in the bio. And if you're listening till this point, thank you so much. A deep gratitude to one and all, and thank you for your share. And please do leave a comment and or email, or what your takeaways are. I love to hear and connect back with you. And join me in figuring it out what the life ahead for us is. Let's do it together. Remember, life is magical. Thank you for listening in. Namaste. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.